This program is sponsored in part by
Municipal Credit Union, serving the financial needs of our members since 1916. MCU, strong, trusted, growing.
Transit Check, saves money for commuters, lowers payroll taxes for businesses, and it's also good for the environment. With Transit Check, everyone benefits.
The Transit Managerial Benevolent Association, protecting the rights of non-represented, active, and retired managerial employees within the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Mike Landy, President.
Con Edison, on it, working for you 24/7. We're delivering reliable service, energizing your life, empowering your business. We're people helping people every day.
Transport Workers Union Local 100, representing the 35,000 men and women who move New York. We're New York's public transit union. John Samuelson, President.
And by the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association of the City of New York, fighting for the rights of the police officers who protect New York City. Patrick J. Lynch, President.
Another edition of Transit News Magazine. This month, we're celebrating springtime in New York City from Times Square. And though it's a little chilly out today, spring is here. I'm Stephanie Legrand.
That's right. It's time to shake off those winter blues. Spring is in the air, and there are plenty of places to visit and things to do just waiting for you. And yes, your MetroCard will take you there. I'm Ozzie Cruz.
And Ozzie, because of Hurricane Sandy, businesses from Coney Island to Staten Island can really use your help and patronage.
Hey, and Stephanie, let's not forget Times Square with all its Broadway shows and restaurants and all the beautiful people all around.
And you surely are beautiful, Ozzie. So sit back and relax because we have got a packed show for you. And coming up next...
We got a plan. Make it grand. Turn this place into a place where people love to come. We got a plan.
What's that I hear? Is it the sounds of Grand Central Terminal, the musical? I'm Edith Mock here with a few of my friends, and we've got that story.
Times Square is easily accessible by subway or bus. After all, it is the center of the world and a must-visit when you have guests from out of town.
Unfortunately, because of Hurricane Sandy, most of Lower Manhattan was flooded and the new South Ferry station was knocked out.
Ozzie, to get people moving again, the MTA has opened up the old station until repairs to the newer station are done. Here's Mark Groce with that story.
Hurricane Sandy destroyed much of Lower Manhattan, and it was no more evident than in the South Ferry station. Following the storm, the station was completely submerged in approximately 15 million gallons of water.
From a station component standpoint, we lost every escalator of this station. We lost every elevator. We lost all the electrical lighting. We lost the AFC. We lost our PA, all our customer communications. From a track standpoint or maintenance way standpoint, we lost all our signaling system and our power systems.
After the initial assessment of the damage was completed, what they found was complete devastation.
The elevators, the escalators, the lighting systems, the electronic systems for customer information, train arrival, the signal systems, all of that needs to be entirely replaced. You need to keep in mind that the salt water, once it hits these systems, the electronics and the electrical systems, they're totally wiped out, totally rendered useless and need to be replaced.
Workers have to pull down walls and ceilings in every room, office, and the employee facilities in order to see the full scope of the damage. After the storm's devastation, the commute to and from Lower Manhattan became a logistical challenge.
I had to take the R train all the way up to 42nd Street, and there was always a problem every day. Sometimes I'd have to take it downtown from Whitehall to Brooklyn to transfer to an express NQ train uptown.
New York City Transit decided the best way to alleviate the pain of rush hour was to recommission the old South Ferry station.
The first thing we did was we performed an assessment of the new terminal, South Ferry. And when we started to realize that we were looking at a long repair period of multiple years, we realized our customers coming from Staten Island needed better service. So we began to look at the alternative of opening up Old South Ferry Terminal.
However, reopening the decommissioned station was not without its challenges.
Since 2008, we had pinned the gap fillers closed, so we had to make sure that they were somewhat operational. Once we got the gap fillers operational, the big thing was the entrances. We realized the old entrance was no longer in existence, so we had to open up that entrance, which meant opening up the wall behind us, which wasn't there at one time. So right now, Old South Ferry Terminal has 2 entrances and exits.
After the cleanup and before the restoration can begin, the MTA wants to make sure this kind of damage does not happen again. And in order to do that, many components of the station will not only have to be replaced, they will have to be completely redesigned.
The first and foremost is we need to try to prevent the water from coming into the station. So one of the ideas being tabled is redesigning the street stairways to incorporate some sort of barrier system that will allow us to, in essence, seal it off tight so that if the water does come up, or if there's a 2-foot surge, a 10-foot surge, or a 20-foot surge, it will prevent the water from coming down into the subway system itself. And we're going to try to do some mitigation work where we'll provide generator connections and maybe larger pumps or some different type of control system where those pumps will continue to run even if Con Edison shuts down the electric service to the station.
Although the restoration process may take a while, commuters are just happy to have their South Ferry train back.
It cuts my commute about a half hour to Staten Island.
I'm so happy. It looks like the old with the new now, huh? I mean, I really want to do backflips right now, but I can't. But it's a good thing. I'm just glad it makes it easier for everybody.
New York City Transit is doing all it can to get the trains back on the rails and get commuters back on track. I'm Mark Groce reporting for Transit News.
Stephanie, I love trains, and the best ones are the ones you can hold in your hand. That's right, model toy trains have come a long way. And when you're in charge of your own railroad, the trains are always on time.
Ozzy, some model train enthusiasts came out last month to show off their skills and scale railroads, and the attention paid to the details was just amazing. We sent reporter Joe Calisi to catch a train from the past.
People of all ages came out to enjoy model railroading at the 2013 National Model Railroaders Association Spring Convention in Massapequa Park, Long Island.
The Sunrise Trail Division is the local arm of a national organization. We bring the events of the National Model Railroad Association, or NMRA, to the members that live in Metro New York and Long Island.
Events included operating model railroads, clinics, detailed scratch building, and photo contests. Along with one-of-a-kind items on display, there were scenic villages filled with colorful shrubbery and replicas of bridges with train layouts built to scale.
What's unique about two-rail operation is we run right off the trolley wire exactly as the prototype does. Some layouts you'll see where they run off the two-rail, we run off the trolley wire. And that's our motto. We're unique, we're different.
These operating layouts have city landscapes, urban settings, and rolling hills with such attention to detail, they leave you wondering if what you're seeing is a scale model. Everything is handmade. The people, the cars, even someone fishing under a bridge. At this train show, not only do they teach about different model scales, but clinics teach you how to make scenery.
This module here was put together by a young lady who's no longer with the club. But, she won first prize in the National Model Railroad Association.
This organization is reaching out to young people.
We also work with the Boy Scouts for the Model Railroad, or for the Railroad Merit Badge, and we are planning now to a youth participation clinic during our annual convention, which is held usually the first or second Saturday of November.
Being a member of the club is a lot of fun. I get to hang out with these fun guys, and we talk about train-related things or other things. And my grandpa got me involved in the club. I started coming with him when I was younger.
This convention proved to be not only a great time for train enthusiasts, but a special family experience as well.
We all enjoy it. As a matter of fact, he has the whole basement of trains now. What is HO2? HO2, yes. So we enjoy it very much, and this is very nice.
This is a lot of fun for me. I get to see people's layouts, the models that they're working on. I've been talking with people, getting ideas, and just sharing information. A lot of times people have information on my favorite railroad, or I have information that, I can share with them. And that's probably the best part of this, is that sharing that goes on, that camaraderie.
These are not your grandfather's toy train sets. These are modern, computer-controlled operating layouts. Reporting for Transit News, I'm Joe Calisi.
The plays along Broadway's Great White Way have been graced throughout the years with wonderful women playing strong role models, many receiving Tony Awards.
And Ozzy, New York City Transit also recognizes great talent. This year, they honored some women who have shown exceptional on-the-job skills with the Inspiring Women Award. We sent our reporter Trina Moore to meet them on the job.
On Mother's Day, we thank the women in our lives. At Transit, they reward inspiring women. There are 9 different categories, and a panel of their peers cast a vote for this year's Best Ladies of Mass Transit.
We had a panel of about 7 members that actually sat down together for about a day or two. We came up to 2 finalists for each of our 9 categories.
This year, I think with capturing the whole theme of women's history, we really focused on STEM and trying to capture that different element that the women bring within transit. So we focused on the science, the technology, the engineering, the mathematics.
One by one, 20 influential women walked up to receive their award. What made these awards special was that the women were nominated by their own colleagues. One of the recipients was Transit reporter Celeste Farage-Yee.
Well, my boss told me that he was nominating me because he knows that I do so much volunteer work outside of my regular tour, and it was just wonderful.
When these women are not receiving awards, they're making sure the transit system runs smoothly.
Some of the women started on a career path that brought them here to New York City Transit.
My first job was in the publishing world in college textbook editing. And while doing that, I found myself increasingly thinking, I don't want to be editing these things anymore. I want to do this work. So while there, I went back to school. I got a graduate degree in urban and regional planning, and then got a job at the New York City Transit Authority, actually, in the 80s. We have 4 bus garages in the Manhattan Division, and I oversee their operations. Basically, I think that my primary responsibility is to help the people who run those operations succeed. So it's my job to set a tone, set a direction, and then provide the resources that they need.
Some who already work for New York City Transit were encouraged by colleagues to not let gender be an obstacle.
At that time, most of the mentors were men. Men who actually encouraged me to put in my resume and take the next step into management. And I got a lot of coaching from that side. So I'm very proud of the fact that New York City Transit does have people at the time and now men who are very receptive to the diversity, especially when it comes to women.
For some, their past experiences have helped shape them into the leaders they are today.
In 1993 or 94, I saved someone's life when I used to work the B8. I applied first aid that I was trained in the military. So I saved someone's life on 18th Avenue. The skills that I picked up in the Army have helped me in the Transit Authority as interpersonal skills, as a people person, going to different scenes.
And what is their advice to other women on their way up?
My advice to any woman, young woman who wants to succeed in the corporate world is to be persistent.
That you can be anything you want to be in this world, that nothing can stop you and you're not too old.
If you're interested in it, it's much easier to get over those roadblocks. You have a kind of a dynamic quality that makes you want to get over them, and it's much easier.
Behind every good transit system, there are some amazing women. I'm Trina Moore reporting for Transit News.
streets of Times Square attract stars from all over the world to perform on stage. And the Inside Out NYC project is making stars out of all of us. Don't forget, every night there are wonderful plays both on and off Broadway.
And at the New York Transit Museum in downtown Brooklyn, there was a play made just for kids, Make It Grand. It had a short run, but it put smiles on youngsters' faces and taught them a few things too. Here's Edith Mock with that story.
We're here to say Make It Grand, a new musical starring Grand Central Terminal in all of its centennial glory, held performances at the New York Transit Museum.
We got a plan.
We got a plan.
Make it grand.
Make it grand.
Turn this place into a place where people love to come. We got a plan.
We got a plan.
Make it grand.
Make it grand.
Turn it into a venue where things will really hum. Right
the
now,
audience was taken on an educational and interactive journey back in time with the help of many colorful characters.
It spans a very long amount of history. It starts off really with more of the planning sessions of the building. William J. Wilgus kind of introducing all of his ideas and everything to Vanderbilt. And then the process basically of over the 100 years now that we've had of all the different stories, different people interacting with the building, interacting with each other within the spaces that are so famous today.
This show also pays tribute to the engineers and the architectural stylings of the building.
This William J. Wilgus fella, who has sort of unfortunately been lost to history, was so incredibly prescient and foresightful and such a talent. And New York City was so incredibly lucky to have him, because if it were not for his forward thinking and his ideas about putting in ramps and looped tracks, all of that stuff was groundbreaking.
So the acorns and the oak leaves are something that is kind of prevalent throughout the show. The story behind it is that Vanderbilt was, as a small child, he grew up from, kind of basically nothing and made himself into this huge tycoon, of course. And so he always used to say that from tiny acorns, mighty oaks shall grow. So he himself made himself out of a tiny acorn and turned into this big oak tree.
Big and loud. The actors set the stage for both children and adults to learn and be inspired by their performance.
Yeah, they had a great show about the history of Grand Central Station and its 100th birthday. I would definitely put it on Facebook now. Come on down to the museum. They have very informative information about Grand Central Station.
Trains were a really important part of this country for many, many years, and now most of this country is without trains, so kids don't really see the importance of the railroads and how they built the United States into what it is today.
It teaches us about Grand Central Station, and most of us don't appreciate the old New York City, and we just appreciate the new New York City. So I think it's really fun to learn about the old New York City.
Well, what's the best thing you learned about Grand Central?
About the acorns. He remembered that his class was very low, so he was like an acorn. And then when he grew up, he had first class, so he grew up to be like a mighty oak tree.
It is theater for young audiences, so we definitely try to keep things very exciting and fresh. And something that to me is very important just as an actor is to remember when you're dealing with small children, it might be the first time that they ever see a performance of any kind. So you always have to make it, as good as it can be, because this might be the thing that inspires them to do anything.
You can go to a museum and have it be something other than static stuff sitting there that you walk by and read about. You can see things come to life from 100 years ago and actually become a part of history that way.
I got to sing Happy Birthday to Grand Central.
We're here to say, happy birthday, Grand Central.
To the Grand Central. Here at the New York Transit Museum, both young and old had a grand time at Make It Grand. I'm Edith Mock, here with a few of my friends, reporting for Transit News.
New York has many art museums, and artwork is all over the city, and some places you least expect, like in subway stations.
That's right, Ozzy. And in Brooklyn, there's a new Arts for Transit display featuring photos of Coney Island. Our very own Helle Andersen went to check it out.
At the Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center subway complex, commuters have a new temporary photo exhibition called Greetings from Coney Island.
Well, we have 4 light boxes throughout the transit system, and MTA, Arts for Transit, curates. We try to find a photographer with work that connects people to the neighborhoods around the city and something they can relate to and that'll attract their attention.
The exhibit features the work of the photographer Jeff Liao, who focuses on the diversity and vistas found in each of New York City's 5 boroughs.
We've always admired Jeff Liao's work. He does these panoramic shots that are slow motion over time. He keeps the lens of the camera open, so he captures a lot of activity. And also we wanted to bring people's attention back to Coney Island. It suffered a lot during the storms, and now that the warmer weather is here, it's a great time to remind people that they can just hop on the subway and go there in person.
Jeff has set his lens on Coney Island, capturing everything the area has to offer on a warm summer night.
I usually make a photograph which can represent the atmosphere of that particular place. So if you've never been to Coney Island, when you look at the image, then when you go there, you will feel the same way. That's what I want to bring to the viewer.
The exhibit showcases photographs of the crowds, the boardwalk, and the rides. And by using a technique of wide angle and expansive viewpoint, Jeff is bringing the viewer into the picture.
I'm shooting digital. Usually every single image is 200 to 300 shots. Shoot them by portion, then put them together later on in the Photoshop.
MTA Arts for Transit enhances the subway environment throughout the MTA system with art, music, the Lightbox Project, and many other great things.
Well, we always hope that people just slow down and enjoy and appreciate the art that the MTA's put in the environment to make the travel experience just a little more pleasant. And also to remind them that Coney Island's a great place to visit.
It catches their attention in it, you know? You actually want to know why they're there. You actually stare at it and look at it, so that's a good thing.
I really like it as well because it gives good assumptions to people that really haven't really been to Coney Island, and then it'll give them more influence to say, hey, I want to go to Coney Island.
I'm not from around here, and just seeing it, it kind of like, ooh, what's that? Where is that? I want to go there.
After you've seen the artwork here, you might be inspired to go to Coney Island. And after Hurricane Sandy, they could really use your help. I'm Helle Andersen for Transit News.
A sailor kissing a nurse at the end of World War II is one of the many historic moments photographed in Times Square over the years.
Just a short walk from here is Grand Central Terminal. Thousands of photographs have been taken of the building, trains, and lovers' meeting. Our reporter Rhea Titus has found a book which has some great pictures of the terminal.
There's a new book out called Grand Central Terminal, 100 Years of a New York Landmark. The book is full of amazing pictures and information.
The terminal's been here for 100 years and it has a life. So what is that like? What else has happened? So we touch on the Grand Central Depot and Station that were here before Grand Central Terminal. We talk about the construction of Grand Central Terminal. We talk about the architects, where they got their education, how that affects the design of the building. But then we went into behind the scenes. How are the trains directed? Things that have been here besides trains.
This informative 224-page book blends nostalgia and quotations that bring life to the terminal.
Whether they're in the press or people who work at the terminal, we brought those voices out, and they bring the story alive. And that's what makes this book, the combination of those things makes this book different from all the others, and I think definitely worth having a look at.
Many of the pictures depict the changes Grand Central has had throughout the years.
An art gallery, CBS's first TV studios, which was as long ago as 1937. Alfred Hitchcock shooting movies, events, memorials, the whole life of the terminal.
There was a lot of thought that went behind the mixture of black and white and color photographs. Many of those photographs were taken by a retired and a current MTA photographer.
When I come in here, that's the first thing I do, is to look at the light, because the light reflects everything else, the people, the stone, the ceiling. And in order to take some of these shots, I see something and I grab it.
You know, you try to make it look as good as possible. So that's either by angle, by lenses, where you position yourself high or low, and you try to give the editor a variety.
And for the reader, the book has lots of terminal trivia.
One of the surprises, I think, for most New Yorkers is that this is not the original Grand Central. It's the third Grand Central on this site, and our first chapter goes into that whole history. Less well known, perhaps, is that for a while there were also green caps. They didn't take your luggage to the trains, they took your messages.
And Grand Central is still a work in progress. In 2018, the East Side Access Project will bring a new terminal for the Long Island Railroad.
It's going to create access for people coming from Long Island. Instead of going to Pennsylvania Station, they can come here. And apparently this is going to save a lot of hours for a lot of people.
The book also illustrates the day-to-day life of this thriving terminal as not just a building, but as a living structure.
This is in a sense, the superorganism that reflects our entire culture. There's more lines of communication coming in and out of here than any place else in the world.
Don't miss out on a great read that shows the history and glamour that truly makes Grand Central Terminal 100 years of a New York landmark. I'm Rhea Titus, reporting for Transit News.
Times Square is truly the crossroads of the world, and it seems like the whole world is here today.
That's right, Ozzy. We're here with our friends from Australia. Where are you guys from?
New England.
That's right. Now that summer's around the corner, it's time to get out and enjoy the city and all it has to offer. Ozzy, I gotta say, the best part of New York City sometimes is just people watching.
You got that right. Well, that about wraps up this month's show. If you have any questions, comments, or story ideas, please email us at transitnews@nyct.com. I'm Ozzy Cruz. Thanks for watching.
And I'm Stephanie Legrand. Thanks for riding.
Hey guys, let's go get some pretzels. On me.
This program is sponsored in part by
Municipal Credit Union, serving the financial needs of our members since 1916. MCU, strong, trusted, growing.
Transit Check, saves money for commuters, lowers payroll taxes for businesses, and it's also good for the environment. With Transit Check, everyone benefits.
The Transit Managerial Benevolent Association, protecting the rights of non-represented, active, and retired managerial employees within the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Mike Landy, President.
Con Edison, on it, working for you 24/7. We're delivering reliable service, energizing your life, empowering your business. We're people helping people every day.
Transport Workers Union Local 100, representing the 35,000 men and women who move New York. We're New York's public transit union. John Samuelson, President.
And by the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association of the City of New York, fighting for the rights of the police officers who protect New York City. Patrick J. Lynch, President.